Hi, my name is Brian Inch from ModelRailScenes. Today I'd like to talk about my new modular layout. Made up of 4x4 modules, and when I go to the show, it's three of those. So I have the two ends and the center part reflecting the Kennebec River, which my shop is on. So what I did was add another two modules to it. So I have 8 feet extra. So it's a 4x20 foot layout, and incorporates. Well, I have a farm I added to it. I have a big rock cut and some freight houses, passenger station. But if you've seen it before, I had the sawmill and the logging and also the old brewery on the other side. But I'll walk you through what I did this time. And this way you'll come and see it at the next York show. This is one of the modules I've added to it. It had the brewery here, so I put a front track in it to keep it going straight. And I put a silo for grain or flour in the back. And it's nice because I have a little passing siding on it, so it's kind of neat. I'll show you what I did here. I got a dairy barn here, a small dairy barn anyway. And I had some cows and some of the details. The whole thing is terrained, which means it has, you know, something going on everywhere except the roads. I kept them kind of flat. I have a little hunting scene here, and that's one of those Lionel animated scenes. So the guy lifts up the gun and everything. It's pretty neat. The grain silo is a Lionel, I guess, building, an old kit building. But, you know, when you paint them and weather them, they come out really nice. I add some detail to that. This is an old kit for milk, I guess. I've made this years ago. But a lot of these buildings I have in storage for years, so it's kind of nice breaking them out and using them. There's another one right there. Kind of a little freight shack or something like that, work shack for the guys who work on the railroad. And usually in the railroads you have a lot of those. And then I got some old, I guess, Weaver telephone poles I added. And then little dioramas of things like that I add to it. Yeah, I mean, you can go nuts on details. Just keep adding and adding and think of things that you can add and do. So it's kind of nice. But this whole farm scene is really nice. I'd turn it on and show you, but since I got sound modules in the water and things like that, it gets a little loud. Okay, this is the second module I added. Have the farm scene over there, have the river, and I wanted to come over here. I needed some depth, some of the scenery that I really do. I wanted to show people what I can kind of enhance their layout with. So I made a nice rock cut in the back. It's kind of a mountain, but like in real life, they always cut it. And they kind of have some depth to it, and the trains go through it. They don't have much space. They only had 4-foot space, so it's kind of a tight radius, but it works for 036. And I added a freight station here, a passenger station. I got a Z Stuff semi 4, so in real life they would flag it down or whatever. It's a custom little freight house I did years ago. But it's kind of nice. It's a nice little scene. I'm happy how it came out. I don't have a lot of space for 4x4 modules, so you got to really pick carefully what you want to do. Put a bunch of trees on it, a little road, and it ties in really well from the logging right down to the water scene down here for fishing. But it's really nice to see the trains cross the bridge into a nice rock cut. All right, this is a layout scene I did a while back. This is my shingle company here, kind of a logging scene. I did this a while ago, and this represents a lot of railroad activity from Maine all the way down to the south. So I really enjoy this one. I have an animation kind of centered right in the center of the whole logging and cutting and milling scene, I guess. And I always use this guy. These are Lionel, I guess, loggers or whatever they call them, sawmen. But it works really well because they're always sawing wood back in the day. And then as they got automated, they always use the wheels. But this can work anywhere. I got a little shingle flat car I made. This is a log dump car. And that's the Main Central one, which really kind of enhances it too, because I'm doing Main Central Railroad. But it works on an animation trigger track, so if I press the button, it dumps the logs. Just fun. One of the coolest things about O-Scale is the animation, and that's why I really enjoy it. And if you have some realistic animation, it even makes it better. So I have the loggers here, the log dump, and you know, the really nice detailed buildings. And of course I got the crossing gates that kind of, as the train goes by, these gates will light up and go down. And I also have a little speeder shack in the background. I like the work buildings a lot because they go everywhere on the railroad. I don't want to overdo it, but nice little vignettes here and there kind of really enhance the layout a lot. Okay, this is a focal point of the layout. This is the center point. This is the river going through it. Kind of divides it in two different sections here. But I like this a lot. I like the bridge, the metal bridge or girder bridge here, and also the wooden trestle. Kind of ties the old and the new, like a lot of railroads did. It's a nice sized river, goes right through the whole layout. So you can view it from both sides. It's kind of nice. And I got a little fishing shack down there, and guys fishing, and people, you know, going on the water with boats and things. It also gives some little hill area here. Like I said, I got my hunters from the other scene that kind of ties into here. Got some deer and some wildlife, you know, eagles and things. And I also, on top of the hill, I put a girl flying a kite. It's an old K-line option. I just took it apart and redid it, but it works out really well. And of course, I got a little sign that represents what I do for a living. So it has a ModelRailScenes animation sign up here. So it works out nice. But yeah, it's a great scene. I really like it. And of course, you can hear the sound module in the background with the water. But yeah, it all tied in really nice when I did the whole expansion of it. This is a great scene. I enjoy this a lot. This is a custom-made brewery I did years ago. And I tied it with the Coors car. And it's an animation car that actually puts out beer. I was really happy when Mike from MTH made the realistic cars. I always like the Coors Light Train, the Silver Bullet, but it's very big, kind of hokey-ish. It's really cool on the shelf, but to run it's really hard. So when he actually made the animation cars, I think he did Budweiser and some other ones he had the rights for. But I'll demonstrate now with the beer coming out of it. But if you press the button on the activation track, the beer comes out. It has a little smoke unit inside of it, spits out the beer. I love it. I love realistic animation. That's probably the best part, I think, of O-Scale. And of course, I got trucks and cars going through here and there. But I really enjoy this scene a lot. Well, thanks for checking out the layout. Hope you come and see it at the York show. It's a 4x20, so there's a lot to see, a lot of animation. But if you ever need a layout custom built for yourself, please give us a call. Thanks.